views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDBTV.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Las Vegas Law Talk. I am Alexis Brown, your host. Thanks guys for coming. This is Vasilija.
Hello.
This is Moy.
Hello.
These are peer counselors in the Clark County Law Foundation's Trial by Peers program, and they are here with me for our first segment today. If you missed our first episode, go to Las Vegas Law, if I could talk, that'd be great. Go to lawtalk.vegas. And you can see all of the episodes. They'll be posted there every time that we record, every second and fourth Saturday of the month we're here in the studio. And today, for our first segment, we thank you for being here. Thank you for coming back. If you're back, if this is your first time, welcome aboard, and I hope you'll come back and visit us again. So I wanted to, of course, our first segment is always talking about the Clark County Law Foundation. That is one of the reasons that we are here, is to support the programs of the Clark County Law Foundation and get our peer counselors like Moy and Vasilija more involved in our community and be able to speak with our guests and speak with you and have a good time on air. So the Clark County Law Foundation is a nonprofit organization, and primarily what we do is trial by peers. Trial by peers is a diversionary court where we're training 12 to 17-year-olds like Moy and Vasilija here to be peer counselors over the course of a summer, and then they take on real cases that we have taken from the juvenile justice system, first time and some second time offenses, petty larceny, marijuana charges, trespass, fights, all of those kinds of different things, taking them out of the juvenile justice system and giving them a second chance and clearing their records so that way they don't have any past behind them. We're giving them a second chance in the program. So Moy and Vasilija, how did you guys enjoy the summer course? What's maybe your favorite thing that you enjoyed from the course?
I really enjoyed the program because it really puts you into that environment. I know when you get into the classroom that you're in, they really do a good job in teaching you what you need to learn and teaching you what you need to know. And it's just overall a fun experience, and it's a good experience to have because when you get into that courtroom, you don't feel as scared, but you get into it, and it's a nice experience in my opinion.
Well, I just have to say this, and I think we talked about it a little bit maybe on the last episode, or maybe off camera, I'm not sure, but you kind of never lose that nerve a little bit. Sometimes you never do. My mentor, when I was first becoming an attorney, she and I went to court, and we were on a pro bono trial in the bankruptcy court, and it was a week-long trial, and I asked her, I was like, she's been practicing forever, right? And I was like, do you still get nervous? She said, yeah, she does. So it's something that kind of never goes away. It's a little bit of adrenaline more than anything, right? But I'm glad to hear that the program, you feel like it teaches you enough that you're comfortable to go into court.
Yeah, definitely.
And what about you, Vasilija? What was maybe your favorite part of the summer course?
My favorite part was learning cross-examination. I love cross-examining people, everyone. And
sounds like you've taken it into your real life.
That is why I want to become an attorney when I'm older. And I also like taking the oath in front of the federal judge. That was my absolute favorite moment.
So that's
the
right.
Program.
Yeah. So after we have trained the kids over the summer, it's an 8-week course. We do it 2 nights a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And after they have gone through the course, they do a mock trial, and then they take a bar exam, a mini bar exam. And then after they've taken the bar exam, they come. We do a graduation ceremony, and they are sworn in, and they take an oath to uphold the law and the Constitution and fairly represent their clients, just like you do as an attorney. And the reason for that is because we are having them handle real cases that they take out of the juvenile justice system. And so we want them to take that oath seriously. And I was a peer counselor. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. I was a peer counselor in the program when I was 13, and I remember taking my oath even still to this day, standing on the stairs and raising your hand and swearing that you're gonna be responsible. So these kids, they practice under our licenses as attorneys. We have senior attorneys that monitor them and advise them, and then they practice underneath our licenses and take on these cases. How many cases have you taken on, Moy?
I've taken on one so far, and I'm going on to my second.
Nice. And how was your first experience when you went to court?
My first experience, it was definitely nerve-wracking, like you still have that nerve. But at the end of the day, it was a fun and a great experience. And you take it seriously, but at the end of the day, you do it because it comes from your heart, and you like to help others.
Were you on the prosecution side or the defense?
I was on prosecution.
Okay. And do you want to do defense as well?
Yeah, I would really like to see the other side of it, and I really do like defense as well.
Sure. And what about you, Vasilija? Have you taken on any cases?
I had one so far. My very first was a not guilty trial.
Nice.
And I heard those are very rare, so I was very lucky.
They are pretty rare. Most of our cases, just like in real life, most of our cases are guilty or no contest pleas. But we do, unique to the Clark County Law Foundation's Trial by Peers program, is we do take not guilty cases. And when we take not guilty cases and we go to trial on them, we subpoena officers, we subpoena parents, teachers, other students, whomever is an actual witness in the case, we subpoena them and bring them to court. And our peer counselors like Vasilija, they're examining them, cross-examining them, and trying to either prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt if they're on the prosecution side, or prove that there is reasonable doubt on the defense side. So were you prosecution or defense in that case?
I was defense.
And how did you feel about that, representing a peer, another teen? How did you feel about doing that?
I loved it. I would like to show everyone that there is another side, that you can change your life around. It's not too late.
See, that's great. That's exactly what this program is doing, is we're trying to really encourage kids who've maybe just made mistakes, that there's a second chance. We all make mistakes. I think every single one of us, even as adults, we're all one step away from just making a bad decision that could get us into trouble. And truthfully, as teens, we all made pretty big mistakes. Thankfully, we just maybe didn't get caught for them, right? So it's a really great program, and right now we are opening up recruitment for the next summer course. The next peer counselor summer course begins June 9th and goes through August 5th. That's always held at the State Bar of Nevada, again, Tuesday, Thursday nights for 8 weeks. It's 2 hours a night, 5:30 to 7:30. You'll be learning from judges, from lawyers, and others in the community about all things law, how to argue, how to opening and closing statements, examination, evidence, hearsay, all of those kinds of things. So if you have any interest in that, make sure you go to clarkkountylawfoundation.org to the Trial by Peers page, and you can submit an interest form to make sure that you're kept up to date about when deadlines are for applications and about class issues if you do end up attending. So the Clark County Law Foundation, we also have a couple of other great things going on. First and foremost, we have a spring mixer in support of Trial by Peers coming up. That spring mixer, it's at the Capitol Grill on March 5th, and tickets for that are $40. Again, all proceeds go to support the Clark County Law Foundation. There's an event page on Facebook, on the Clark County Law Foundation's Facebook page, so you can go there and pick up tickets on Eventbrite for that event coming up on March 5th. The next thing that we have going before the summer, as if we're not doing enough, right? The next thing that we have, and actually our peer counselors may not know a lot about this part of the program. So the Clark County Law Foundation also has the Let Freedom Ring projects. And as part of Let Freedom Ring projects, we do the Liberty Bell Award ceremony and art contest. So the Liberty Bell Awards have been issued since 1983. Clark County Law Foundation didn't always do them, but we handle them now. And since 1983, there's been Liberty Bell Awards for individuals, lawmakers, judges and lawyers who uphold the rule of law and promote civics in town in Nevada. And so we have had some really prestigious people who have received that award. It's well received. And so that event is coming up on May 2nd, 2020. And as part of that, we are doing a district-wide art contest that coincides with the Law Day theme. So any students from elementary school through high school, whether you're in a chartered school or a school district school, you can submit an art project that goes along with our theme. And so the Law Day theme this year relates to the 19th Amendment, which of course gave women the right to vote. It's turning 100 years old this year. Can you believe that? 100 years ago, women couldn't even vote. Isn't that crazy? So the Law Day theme is your voice, your vote, our democracy, the 19th Amendment at 100. So If you want to submit an art project about that theme and be a part of our award ceremony and have a possibility of winning a little bit of cash in the process, then you can also visit the clarkcountylawfoundation.org and go to the Let Freedom Ring page on the website and find out more about the art contest. All right, guys, next up we have attorney James Leavitt. He is a bankruptcy attorney. He does criminal work. He's passionate about pro bono. He's on a million boards, comes from a family of attorneys, and is a really great guy. So I'm really excited to have him on. Thank you, Moy and Vasilija. We'll have them back at the end of the show to kind of talk about things and wrap up. But for now, we'll take a break and we'll come back with James. Hey everyone, welcome back to Las Vegas Law Talk. I am your host, Alexis Brown, and with me I have attorney James T. Leavitt. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I'm so grateful for you to be here. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Good, I'm glad. So we're having you here today. We obviously are going to get to talk about the Clark County Bar Association and some events. That's one of the things you wanted to talk about.
Oh,
and
definitely.
we're going to talk about some pro bono and things like that.
Right.
But first, just tell everyone kind of about yourself a little bit. How did you become an attorney? How long have you been practicing?
Well, my father was an attorney here in Las Vegas for 40 years, did a lot of bankruptcy law, and I was kind of raised around it.
Sure.
When I was a kid, I'd run petitions over to the court, and he had me all over downtown.
So you were like the office runner before
Oh
that?
yeah, office runner. I don't know how many trips to 7-Eleven I took.
Oh, how funny! How funny! And you come from not just your dad, right? You have other people in your family. That are lawyers.
My grandpa's first cousin was Myron Leavitt, and his descendants. A lot of them are my cousins who also practice law in Las Vegas, and they all do really good work.
Yeah. Lots of Levitts in town. And
Well, yeah, my grandpa used to say, "You throw a stone, you hit one of us."
So when did he come to town?
My grandfather?
Yeah.
Well, my grandfather was born out in Bunkerville.
Oh, okay.
And so, he came out, he fought in World War II in Germany. He fought against the Nazis there. And then went to BYU on a wrestling scholarship, and my grandma came back down to Vegas. And back in the 60s, he actually worked at the test site.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And ended up retiring as an engineer out at Caesars.
That's cool. So now you're practicing, of course. I think you've been practicing since like 2012,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I got licensed in 2012.
Yeah.
I clerked with my dad for a number of years. And then he retired in 2016. I founded my practice. Took over his files, as adult supervision.
I guess that's one benefit of having a dad in the business. You know what I mean? You can maybe take over at some point.
Well, he needed somewhere to make sure that somebody had wills. I've got wills of his from the 80s.
So he's like passed on
Right,
that
right.
legacy to you. That's so interesting. How funny. So now you don't just do bankruptcy though.
No, well, I do primarily bankruptcy. I represent debtors. For the most part. Occasionally, I'll take a creditor case.
Yeah.
But I generally try to stay away from large companies. I don't represent banks. I don't represent large corporations in collection work,
Right.
in bankruptcy. But I handle both business and personal bankruptcy. 7s, 13s, 11s. Adversary proceedings, you name it.
The whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. I take care of traffic tickets sometimes.
Me too.
I think
Don't we all?
Every attorney in town does.
Do you have a couple of personal injury cases too?
No,
you don't do that.
I've stayed away from that. I stay away from family law.
Same.
Occasionally I'll take on a criminal case like a DUI or a simple drug case, something like that. I find that it helps inform my experience when I'm helping out with trial by peers.
Sure. Yeah. So James is also a senior attorney in the Trial by Peers program, and we love having him around.
Oh, it's a great program.
It's so amazing. I'm curious. I mean, so I remember myself. I mean, I've been passionate about pro bono since before law school. I felt like, you know what I mean. I really got into this business to try to help people and use my degree to help people. Use the education. Kind of what fuels your passion for pro bono work?
I view it as a duty.
Okay.
I'm so lucky to be in a position where I can help others.
Right.
And I have studied the law, and I know things that will help other people solve the problems that they've got.
Right.
And so I always try to have at least a couple pro bonos going on because it's necessary. I mean, it's hard to have to deal with our legal system.
It is.
Our legal system is complicated. It is scary, and it takes a specialized knowledge.
Right.
And so, anytime somebody comes to an attorney, they've asked all their friends, they've asked all their relatives
They've Googled.
They've Googled. They've asked their second cousin.
Yeah.
They've done everything, and finally they come to you because they don't really have much of a choice. Whatever they're dealing with, they've got to deal with, and I feel it's my duty to help people with their pro bono cases.
I like that.
I primarily take bankruptcy pro bono cases,
Okay.
and it changes people's lives.
Do you take those from like legal aid, or do you just occasionally if someone calls, or you're like?
No, I almost entirely take all my pro bono from the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, and the reason for that is a couple-fold. I mean, first of all, they've got a good infrastructure in place to make sure that these resources aren't going to people that aren't truly needy.
Yeah.
And I don't have that infrastructure in my office.
Sure. That's
I mean, other than if I'm preparing somebody's bankruptcy schedules, but for the most part, the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, they've got great people over there. They've got great systems in place to make sure that people who are coming to me truly need it.
Right.
And on top of that, one of the benefits of taking cases from them is that they cover your malpractice insurance for any case that you're working on.
Right.
And so it's really...
And they're really good over there too about giving you help if you need it, right? I mean, so
they're
it's
fabulous at that.
Yeah, so so say it's a matter that maybe you don't know a ton about as a lawyer or a young lawyer or something like that. You can go to Legal Aid and take on a case, and they will actually kind of give you some resources to help you out and get through it, right?
Oh, they'll not only that, they'll train you.
Yeah.
I mean, they oftentimes what they do is they'll do these free CLEs that are you can take. They'll train you on any of the number of things that they handle, any of the number of civil things that they handle, and all they ask is you take a case.
Right.
Take a case, help somebody out.
Right. So how many? What would you say other than taking cases from Legal Aid? Do you have any other pro bono?
Yeah,
things you do.
I do some work. I help. I often take cases from Nevada Legal Services.
I've done that as well. Yeah.
I usually will take name changes.
Oh, interesting. Okay, name change stuff.
Yeah, name changes for the trans community.
Nice.
Because we've got mechanisms in place that allow for them to change their name, change their gender markers.
To fit
what
they
identify with. Yeah,
that's really great, and especially to help someone do that when they've probably been through a lot to even to come out in that way, or you know what I mean, and to be able to help them kind of have an ID basically that says who they are.
Exactly.
Probably makes them feel really amazing.
Yeah, that's. I mean. That's kind of, I've had some trans employees, and it kind of woke my eyes to the situation, and so since then I've tried to help how I can.
That's cool. So Legal Aid Center, Nevada Legal Services, and then you also volunteer as a senior attorney, which does qualify for pro bono credit, just for the record. So because we are taking on real cases, so it is pro bono hours for anyone who does it. So we appreciate that as well.
Well, I've been counting them on the hours that I report back to the bar.
So do I. What do you think? Actually, I'm curious what you think about the fact that our pro bono requirements are aspirational.
I actually think that's a good thing.
Why do you say that?
Because the people who are doing pro bono are doing it because they want to do pro bono.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they're
The Bleeding Hearts Club, call
it's
us.
not it's not a way where, you know, they're being forced to do pro bono, where, you know, maybe they're trying to find a way to, you know, maybe this thing that I'm doing for my cousin counts as pro bono, or, you know, this it de-incentivizes, you know, trying to skirt it.
That's fair.
You know,
I think every lawyer should do it.
I agree.
No.
I think it's part of our duty as attorneys.
Yes. And not just that, but I don't know about you, James, but when I do pro bono cases, it makes me feel different.
Oh yeah.
It's different than, I mean, you take paid cases, you have
Right.
pro bono cases. The difference between them,
Well, I mean, the difference between them is, you know, on the pro bono cases, you know, weren't going to solve this problem any other way.
right?
You know, it was going to haunt them. Whatever that problem may be, it was going to haunt them. And you know, one program that I've been doing with Legal Aid Center, this Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada, that I've really enjoyed is their Partners in Pro Bono program. This is a program where they ask for volunteer pro bono attorneys, and then they ask law students if they want to work on a case. So they'll pair an attorney with a case and with a law student, so that, you know, the law student can learn how to do this type of case. I've taken a number of cases, bankruptcy cases, where I've got kind of a whole program worked out, where I'll get a student over at UNLV, over at Boyd. They'll come in, I'll do an hour-long lecture about the basics of bankruptcy. Then I'll have them come back with the client. We'll do a client consultation. And then, you know, I have them prepare the petition. You know, I teach them how to use the software, and then we go over it we go over the petition with the client as they sign it.
Right.
And then I teach them how to file it.
That's cool.
And then
You take them to the creditors meeting?
I do, and then I take them to the creditors
cool,
meeting, and
yeah.
generally at that point it's done.
Right, yeah.
So
most small bankruptcies,
Right.
you get your discharge right after
Right.
that because there's no assets
Right.
and all of that.
Yeah, there's really not usually much of a challenge in the small no asset Chapter 7s, because I mean, there's no money to fight.
Right, yeah, well,
You
you're
know?
not gonna, there's no money to go around. You cannot, you know, get blood from a turnip,
Exactly,
as they say, right?
exactly.
Which is, I mean, and that's the point of bankruptcy, is to help those people
Right.
that are struggling and have come into some situation. And even better that, you know, you're, like you said, this might haunt people, but you're clearing up their records for that, you know, their financial record for them, so that way they can move forward and
Right.
clean up their credit, you know, buy a house, get a
Right.
car, do all of those things that they maybe want to do, right?
Well, I view it as a safety valve of capitalism. You know, if we don't give relief to people who owe money at some point, then people stop using the main economy. They go into black market economies. You know, they stop using credit. They stop, you know, buying things. And our economy depends on that.
Sure.
And the code, you know, is geared towards giving relief to people who have started businesses. And, you know, as we both know, most businesses fail.
They do.
But the bankruptcy code incentivizes people to try again.
And that's great, yeah, and that you know, that you're doing that. I wish I could be a partner in pro bono with you. I think I would learn. And also, I have to give a shout out to the law school, to be honest, because they are really our law school at Boyd is so encouraging of pro bono and giving back. You know, they of course partner with legal aid, but just in general, I mean, you know, they have classes that they teach over there. One of my favorite parts of going to Boyd was teaching one of the pro bono classes, and it of course continued to cement, you know, my passion for it as well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think it's really, I mean, that's really amazing that you do that. Are there any other programs that you're taking cases from? I mean, or is that really?
Well, I mean,
you know?
that's been primarily what I've been doing. I like I said, I take most of my pro bono work from the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada.
Legal Aid Center, they kind of have the cap. They have the market share on the pro bono stuff, I feel like.
Well, I mean, they run so well. I mean, you've got Barbara Buckley. She's a legend.
Amazing. She's a legend, yes, absolutely.
I mean, the things that she's done for debtors in the state, I could go on for hours.
I mean, all kinds of disadvantage people, really. I mean,
Right.
yeah, doing the things she's doing over there. And
Right.
that, I mean, in the Legal Aid Center, I think at this point now, I mean, it's poised to be operating for many, many, many moons to come, which
Yeah.
is fantastic, because that means that we're just going to continue helping people,
Right.
which is great.
Right, and then Noah Malgary over there, he's amazing. He's
He
the
is.
pro bono coordinator, and you know we run into him all the time.
He is a social bunny. Yes, he is always out and about trying to make sure that lawyers are taking pro bono cases.
Yeah. He does an amazing job,
He does, yeah.
and everybody over there does. I mean, I've got friends all through there.
They're great people over there, and we love them. Well, also we're here to talk about Clark County Bar Association.
Yeah.
Tell our audience about just a little bit about the Bar Association.
Well, the Clark County Bar Association is well, actually, it's turning 100 years old next year.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, we did some. We put together a historical committee, and we did a bunch of research. Our history had kind of been lost,
Sure.
and we discovered that we were actually founded in 1921 by Artemis Ham and about 16 other lawyers.
Of Artemis Ham Hall
Right.
kind of fame,
Right.
by the way.
Yeah. And so this is something that we recently discovered in the last couple of years.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm advocating on the board that we kind of try to do some things to celebrate, but we're still working on the details of
Well,
that.
I would agree that you should celebrate being 100 years old. That's
Right,
incredible to be 100 years old. And it's a member organization, so it's a member organization for attorneys in Clark County, attorneys and non-attorneys, though.
Right. Yeah. We have a scale rate. For law students, it's free to join. We want to get the law students involved, and then it goes on a sliding scale of membership dues from 0 for law students up to $195 a year for practicing attorneys.
Okay, that's really reasonable, too.
Yeah.
That's really
And there's a lot of benefit to it. I mean, we've got our communique that you get, almost every month, which has CLEs in it.
right.
We've got discounts on our luncheons. Our Meet the Judges luncheon. We do our Meet the Judges mixer that we do every year. That's coming up in May.
Nice.
We've got our 40-year club coming up on March 5th.
Cool.
That's going to be great. That's always a fun one, because you get the folks who have been practicing attorneys in Nevada in Clark County for the last 40 years, getting up, telling war stories, kind of telling what happened back in the day.
Yeah, right? All right, James, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a second. We're going to talk more about all of the fun stuff that is coming up with the Clark County Bar Association. Talk more with James. We'll be back in 1 second.
We could talk a little bit about the Trial by Peers program. It's been about 22 years with the Clark County Law Foundation, and the goal is to provide community service and educational opportunities to our youth. When I was teaching a summer class, preparing for the examination, and one of the parents came up to me and said it was like listening to a civics class, and that's exactly what it's about. It's about teaching good citizenship, and the whole Trial by Peers is exactly what it means. It's a trial by the peers. It's where the youth are defended by their peers, they are prosecuted by their peers, and they are judged by their peers. It's a juvenile diversion program. Youth that get citations come to the program instead of going to the court, to the juvenile court. And what happens, the thing is based on a positive peer, saying that the youth respond more to other peers, telling them it's inappropriate or hold them accountable. So it's based on the youth court and positive peer pressure. So that's the whole goal of the program.
Of my entire life, hands down, and you have to really take it for what it is and really appreciate it, because we're really lucky to have that in our city.
study law and know the handles around the courtroom. You know, I wasn't really good at speaking at first, but thanks to them, they helped me out. Yeah, so, and to the new peer counselors, I want to say, you got to take this seriously, because this is a program you cannot sit back on, lay back, and pretend like it's nothing. This program will help you succeed, and it will make you a better person, okay? Thank you.
Welcome back again. We are in segment 3 of Las Vegas Law Talk. Today we are back with attorney James Leavitt. We left you talking about the Clark County Bar Association and some of their events coming up. So again, Clark County Bar Association, it's a member organization.
It is. It's, you know, it's
networking.
Yeah, networking. You know,
What have you gotten the most out of being a member of the Clark County Bar Association? What is like the most beneficial thing you've gotten from it?
I've really enjoyed volunteering on the New Lawyers Committee. That's where I first got involved.
Okay.
And the New Lawyers Committee, you know, they plan a lot of the events, and so I've had a lot of fun planning events.
Yeah.
You know, one thing we've got coming up that I came up with a number of the other members of the committee. We're doing our second annual pub crawl in April.
Nice.
So, you know, last year we did a great pub crawl all through the Arts District. Had a lot of fun. You know, a judge or two came out, and you know, it was an opportunity to meet people that I wouldn't normally run into.
Right.
I mean, bankruptcy court, yeah, you know pretty much everybody. It's
a small bar.
It's a small bar, and you know, it gives me an opportunity to get out of that bubble.
Right. So, right, because it's all attorneys all across Clark County that are in the Bar Association.
Right.
And that you're bringing out new lawyers, because as a new lawyer, I mean, you were a new lawyer, even though you came from a family of lawyers.
Right.
You were a new lawyer once.
Yeah, I was, and you know, the New Lawyers Committee, they do a lot of work for the Bar Association, for the Clark County Bar Association.
Yeah.
I mean, they volunteer at the Meet the Judges Mixer every year. You know,
that is a fun must-go-to event every year, by the way.
And this one's going to be at the Smith Center again.
Nice. And it's going to be massive, considering all the judges that are up for election.
Oh, yeah. No, it's going to be, there's going to be a hell of a turnout.
Yeah, it's going to be really, and it was really fun at the Smith Center last year. It was really a nice space to have it, and just a lot of fun, and to be able to eat. Great way to connect with everyone. So, nice.
Well,
when is that now? When are we doing that?
Oh, it's in May.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but it's in May. You know, anybody who would like, there's ads for it all over the communique.
Of course.
and if you are a member of the Clark County Bar Association, it's a discounted entry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so all of our luncheons, all of our mixers, anything where we have to charge, you get it at the member price rather than the non-member price.
So for the lunches, where do you guys have those all at the same place usually, or where do you guys do your lunches?
Vary.
Yeah.
They vary. I mean, it's just a matter. We've got Donna and Steph there, and they're our employees, and they run things so smoothly.
They do.
But those guys are always on the lookout for a really good venue.
Well, you know, when you're trying to get people to come to lunch, you know.
Right.
And so you guys do mostly CLE lunches, right?
Yeah.
And then different presentations, or
we do a lot. We do a fair number of CLE luncheons. You know, oftentimes we'll just like to get somebody who's interesting. You know, who has something interesting to say.
Right. I'll say this. So I was at a lunch just this week, actually, with a body language expert. That was really fun.
I'll bet that would have been fascinating.
Yeah, it was really fun. And I love that you guys, I mean, it's so good to have an organization like the Bar Association so you can get your CLE, so you're not scrambling at the end of the year. You're able to like go to lunch and, you know, network with other people, you know what I mean, and then get your CLE and get fed.
Right. Well, and you know, every year we offer, you know, an hour and a half ethics. So
Nice.
if you need to get your ethics, come on over.
You guys probably do the mental health one too, I would imagine.
We
right?
do, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we do the mental health one. I just did a great one. It was on negotiation,
Nice.
psychology in negotiation and law.
Oh wow.
And it was great. It was put on by a professor over at Boyd, and I really got a lot out of it.
That's cool, yeah. I think people discount CLE a little bit. Like a lot of people wait until the last second, but for me, I'm now way ahead on all my CLE, mostly because I got really curious in the last couple of years just to learn everything I feel like I possibly could, and take every free CLE that was out there.
Right.
you know what I mean?
Us folks who have our own firm, we gotta watch the bottom line there.
Yes, free is important. Free or near free. I mean, in the lunches they're discounted. So I mean, how much is it for like a lunch if you're a member?
Well, I mean, it varies depending on the location and what's going on.
Right.
Generally it's about $10 or $12 to $15 less sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's really great.
And that adds up.
Of course it does. $15 is what, maybe a Starbucks and a half run? I don't know.
Well, depending on whether you're getting the big one.
Yeah, right. So that's in May. Judges Mixer in May.
Yeah,
the pub crawl when is that coming up?
That's in April.
Okay.
It's going to be right after tax day. We're calling it the after tax pub crawl.
Because we all need to go crawl some pubs after, after
so
paying our taxes.
We're going to start off over at Cornish Pasty, over in the Arts District, and then we're just going to head our way south on Main Street.
Nice.
And we'll likely end at the end of the night at Rebar.
Rebar is fun.
Yeah, that's a great bar.
If you're a Vegas local, shout out to Rebar. You should go to Rebar.
Yeah, well, I mean it's awesome. You can get a beer and go antiquing at the same time.
Right, and play games or what.
Right.
So how many? All right, that's April after tax day, so the 16th, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's the 16th.
That sounds like the day after tax day. How much are tickets for that?
Oh, that's free.
Oh, it's free for members.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's free.
Can you participate if you're a non-member?
Well, you really should join.
No pressure. No.
But we're doing drink tickets, and so at each location, we'll get everybody will get a ticket. We've got some great sponsors this year. I'm sponsoring it.
James Leavitt Legal Services,
Leavitt
right?
Legal Services, that's right.
Nice.
Las Vegas Legal Video is also sponsoring it. We got what's her name? We got one of the judicial candidates is also.
Nice.
And I don't recall her name off the top of my head.
It's hopefully on all the ads, I'm sure.
It's on all the ads. We've got, I'm not in charge of the copy.
That's Steph and Donna, and they do amazing.
They do amazing at that. Yeah.
You're just here to tell us that it's happening.
I'm here to say, hey, let's go get a drink and
socialize.
And socialize and, create camaraderie in the community.
Right. And that's really what it's about, right? It's about sort of the social aspect, networking outside of an office or a courtroom setting to get to know your fellow lawyers.
Absolutely. Because I think, at least in my experience, a big part of my practice is being able to talk with other attorneys and work something out.
Right.
I mean, I view being an attorney, and our whole job is to resolve conflict in society. That's why we exist as a profession. And if we've got a good camaraderie in the profession, when I get hired by somebody, you're hired by another person, we can come together and solve that with as minimal effort as possible. I mean, of course, we've got to both zealously advocate for our client's position, but I mean, at the end of the day, we got to resolve the conflict.
Right. How do you deal? This is going to go a little off topic of the Clark County Bar Association, but now that you're talking about camaraderie, how do you deal with really difficult opposing counsel?
Well, I don't often have to deal with difficult opposing counsel.
Well, you're lucky then.
Well, first of all, I don't do any family, so that right there, no family law at all.
That helps, yeah.
So that helps. But I mean, in the bankruptcy bar, I mean, everybody's fairly close knit. I mean, we all know each other. We all know we're going to deal with each other for the next 40 years.
Right.
But I find just being stern and being polite. You know, I mean,
confident, assertive, but nice.
I've got my position, you've got your position. There's no reason for me to yell at you and swear at you.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, okay, you know, we're going to work on behalf of our clients. Right. But we're going to, at some point, have to solve it.
I mean, potentially. Do you ever think that some lawyers they act up, so to speak, because of, you know, their case is no good, or because they're just miserable people, or what?
Maybe, but I mean, it's ultimately counterproductive. Yeah. Because, I mean, we're not New York. Right. We're not LA. You know, we're not a big city that's got a huge bar and you're never going to have to deal with anybody ever again. Right. You know, if you're, you know, a difficult in one case against, you know, say Alexis, I'm going to hear about it. You know, and
quite possible.
And, you know, I'm going to, you know, lawyers gossip. Yeah. We know who you know has been who's been mean to who. You know?
And it is, again, it's a small bar. And the bankruptcy bar is even smaller. Right. But even just the Nevada bar in general is a fairly small bar, comparatively speaking, across the country.
Right.
Because, I mean, you know, I think we're in like the 13,000 bar numbers, but that doesn't reflect, you know, exactly. I mean, because that doesn't count, you know, people who have passed or don't practice right. or all of those kinds of things. So it's a small community, small community.
Right.
And if you're not nice to your fellow attorneys, then it will get around.
Yeah. I mean, people have memories.
Good ones, especially when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Right, right.
All right, so back to the Clark County Bar Association. Thank you for entertaining me on that. Just,
no problem.
we have our peer counselors here, too, who should hear about some of those realities as well. So
right.
we got Judge Mixer, Pub Crawl. What else we got going on?
Well, we're recruiting attorney volunteers for the law school's client counseling, their moot court competition coming up.
Nice, when is that?
It's coming up, I believe, towards the end of the month. I've got a...
February.
Towards the end of February.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice.
But so we're looking for volunteers for that. If anybody is interested in volunteering to help judge the moot court competition, contact the Clark County Bar Association. Contact Steph. Donna's out of town for the next month.
Okay, all right.
But Steph's holding down the fort, and she can put you in touch with the new lawyers committee, who was in charge of getting volunteers
for the moot court
competition.
Nice.
Yeah, we provide we try to help them get volunteers every year. For both this and the client counseling competition.
No, those are fun events too over at Boyd. I mean, it's amazing that we're doing those competitions. So is Boyd, is it like a national, or which one are they doing this time around?
I think it's just their
local.
Yeah, their local one.
Nice.
I think it's just their main one. I mean, they do so many moot courts.
They do. They do.
You know, there's the gaming moot court, the bankruptcy moot court.
Right.
Yeah, and so they're just having us get volunteers for this moot court.
Nice, just to judge the competition.
Just this one. Awesome. And in past years, they've had us get volunteers for all of them.
Woo!
And that's been challenging.
I would imagine so, but Steph and Donna are doing the job over there.
Yeah, they are.
And of course with board members like James as well, that are out here making sure that everyone knows about the Clark County Bar Association.
Well, everybody should join.
Everybody should join. That is a very good point. Well, thank you, James, for being on today and talking about all things pro bono and the Clark County Bar Association.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
This
has been a lot of fun.
I hope that maybe you'll do it again sometime, maybe.
Well, I'd be happy to.
Thank you, guys. We'll be back in 1 second. We'll have our peer counselors come back and we'll wrap. James, thanks again.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
Hi, this is Hal Bray with Heroes for Autism. Did you know that 70% of children with autism have reported being bullied at one time or another? Kindness, that's the answer.
Hello, we are in our final segment of Las Vegas Law Talk. I am your host, Alexis Brown, and back with me now are peer counselors Vasilija and Moy.
Hello.
So you guys were sitting off camera and watching James. What'd you guys think about James?
I thought he was really cool. I really enjoyed listening to him, and I enjoyed learning a little bit about like the law community and like about him himself and where he came from, and I thought that was really interesting as well.
Nice.
I learned that he comes from a family of lawyers, attorneys, and that is amazing. And I also learned that pro bono is very valuable.
You guys, we are teaching these kids now. We're teaching them now that they can move on, they can use this education if they so decide to go on and become lawyers. We know Vasilija does. Moy, you want to be a lawyer too?
Yeah, it's something I would want to talk
So we're going to have more kids who are growing up to be attorneys, going to be like James, like myself, who are passionate about pro bono and helping people. And that's what the Clark County Law Foundation is doing. Through this program, through Trial by Peers, through the Let Freedom Ring projects, we're making sure that teens are growing up to be responsible adults and helping our community as much as they can. James was an amazing guest. The Clark County Bar Association is a wonderful organization. You should join. I am going to be making sure I do that. And enjoy their events coming up, the pub crawl, the Meet Your Judges mixer, and they do all kinds of fun stuff too. The 40-year luncheon as well is coming up. So thank you guys for being here today. Did you have fun?
I did.
Yeah, we had fun.
We love having you guys on. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you again in a couple of weeks. On the 22nd is our next recording, and this will come out after that. See you guys.